Alright, look, I'm on the train to spoopy season as much as you are, but it's September now, which means it's Oktoberfest. Despite the name, it actually happens in September. And it occurred to me that a lot of people don't really realize how good German food is. I actually don't I don't cook a lot in general anyway, but despite that, when I do cook, I never really make German food. The only thing I really ever make is spätzle, and it's like very rare that I do that. So it kind of occurred to me that it might be a fun thing to do a video where I make some German food for Oktoberfest. I have come up with a menu. For someone who doesn't cook, I've given myself a lot to do. I'm going to be making Schweinebraten, which is essentially like a pork loin shoulder roast, like a pork roast with some Kartoffelknödel, which is essentially potato dumplings, which will be served with sauerkraut, which I was going to make, but it turns out it takes at least a week and I don't have the time. So I just bought some sauerkraut. And then I'm going to make some Brezen as well, which is, you might have guessed, pretzels. There's nothing like German pretzels. I cannot get them over here anywhere, over here being the UK, in case you weren't aware of where I am. It felt like maybe I should give it a go. The recipe sounds like it should be pretty simple, but I'm quite nervous when it comes to working with like bread type dough, and it sounds very much like it's a bread-like dough. So, but first things first, I gotta get changed. Prost! Ta-da! I'm wearing my dirndl that I got, I don't know, oh my god, how long was it? Maybe 8 years ago? Oh, that's painful. I got it because I thought I might go to an Oktoberfest party about 8 years ago. I never went, and I haven't been to one since either. And I've never been in Germany for Oktoberfest, but I am German, and that's my qualification for what's happening today. I actually hate beer. This is a Weiss beer called Erdinger, which you might be aware of. Just picked it up. Where did I pick it up? Oh, Sainsbury's. Yeah, so I don't drink beers, but I'm gonna drink some beer today to do some cooking, because, you know, it's Oktoberfest. If I'm ever gonna drink beer, I guess it's today. It's not actually that bad. I actually think it might be the thought of beer that I don't like now, as opposed to actual beer, because actual beer is not as bad as I thought it was. Or at least maybe it's just Weiss beer. Maybe I like Weiss beer. Let's start. The Schweinebraten will take about 2.5 hours if I'm lucky. So I'm gonna get started on that, and then we'll do some other bits while that's cooking and doing things. Hi. I've actually changed my mind. I'm gonna start with the pretzel because that needs to rise in the oven for a while. And I actually think I probably should be here for a lot of the pork loin bit, and I actually have some errands to run today. So, trying to work out timings. Let's start with the pretzel.
What you'll need for the pretzels is 1.5 liters of water, 1 packet dried yeast, 500 grams of flour, 350 ml lukewarm milk. I used oat milk because I'm lactose intolerant, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, 1/4 tablespoon of sugar, salt, and rock salt. Start by measuring out and sifting the flour. Add the dried yeast, as well as the lukewarm milk. Now to get your hands dirty. Get your hands in there and start kneading it all up. Once you got yourself a little dough baby, cover it up and leave it aside for 45 minutes. For the Schweinebraten, you're going to need 1 kg of pork roast shoulder, some pepper, 2 tablespoons of mustard, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon cumin, 1 teaspoon paprika, and 1 tablespoon of butter for cooking. You'll also need 2 onions, 5 carrots, and optionally some sauerkraut and Weiss beer to serve.
Alright, let's get started on this baby. Stick some pepper on the... this is not pepper. This is salt. Stick some salt all around it. Pepper. Quite a bit of paprika. And some mustard. Best thing to use really would be German mustard. German mustard is quite different from British or American mustards, but I don't have any German mustard. So American mustard it is. Okay, a spoonful of butter. My uncle, who's a chef, loves to use a lot of butter, so don't be shy with the butter.
Seal the meat on each side except for the fatty bit on top. Then transfer the meat to a baking tray and very slowly and sensually add the stock.
Sizzle, bitch.
Then bunger in the oven for 45 minutes at 140 degrees Celsius. Roughly chop the onions and carrots and peel the garlic. Lightly fry the carrots and onions in some butter. Then add your vegetables to the baking tray with the meat before trying and failing to get your camera to focus on some garlic. Take the stubborn garlic and place it into the cut ridges in the fat bit of your meat. Whilst the meat and veg go back into the oven for another 90 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, we're going back to the pretzels. Start by taking a big pot and adding 1.5 litres of water. To that water, add 2 tablespoons of baking soda. Release the rested dough before kneading it on a floured surface. Then roll it into a shape before cutting it into 12 pieces. You then want to take the individual pieces and roll them out into long wormy boys before shaping them into pretzels. Place the individual pretzels into the boiling water and then using your slotted spoon, keep pressing them down to make sure it stays underwater. Boil each pretzel for 20 to 30 seconds before putting them on a rack to dry. Then sprinkle them with rock salt before putting them in the oven for 25 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius.
Nope.
For the Kartoffelknödel or potato dumplings, you're going to need 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 kg floury potatoes, 2 teaspoons of butter, 2 egg yolks, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and 200 grams corn flour. Peel and boil the potatoes.
While I'm waiting for the potatoes to boil and do their thing, I'm gonna try one of the pretzels. They're not really the right color. Pretty good shape though. I think they might be, can you see that? Focus. Focus. It seems a bit doughy on the inside. It's okay. It's not as good as a German pretzel. I'm wondering, I left out the sugar. I'm wondering if that will have made a difference in terms of the taste. It's definitely like not got much of a taste. It tastes alright when you've got a bit of like of the salty crumbles on it in your bite, but like other than that, it's just nothing. And one of the best things about German pretzels is like the soft center and then the crunchy outside, which it's got, but there's not enough of the soft center. And the center in this, rather than being fluffy and light and like the inside of a bread roll, it's like bubbly. I don't know how to describe it. It's just not how it should be. I don't know if you can tell by looking at it. I don't know, but it's not right. So, bit of a fail, but I'm glad I had a go. I wonder how much difference the sugar would have made. I'm also wondering if they should be in longer, because like the color is just entirely wrong, or maybe I should have done an egg wash. I have made it like, because German pretzels are like a very dark brown. I've still got a couple that haven't been put in the oven, so maybe I'll leave them in for a bit longer.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a bowl. And then add the rest of the ingredients. The corn flour, the eggs, salt and nutmeg. You can use a spoon or your hands to mix it, but you will need your hands eventually to make the potato dumpling balls.
Meow. Yeah. Hello. Froggy, where are you going? Hey, Crunch. Foxy. I think I've been in the kitchen for about 7 hours, on and off, actually, because I went and got my hair done in between, and I did have a chai latte, which was very nice. I am exhausted though. Making 3 things I've never made before. I think timing-wise they actually worked out. The fact that I was able to work on like some things while other things were in the oven, like I think it actually worked out quite nicely, but it just meant that there was never a time where I could just stop for a bit. I think if you were making like, for example, just a Schweinebraten, then you know, there's a point where it's like in the oven for an hour and a half, and technically you could just chill out for that time. There's a point as well before that where it's in the oven for 45 minutes. Chill out for that time, or, I mean, I prepped the veggies, I prepped the veggies. I'm so tired. During that time, which was probably a good use of time. I think I did use my time quite wisely, but nevertheless, I'm very tired right now. Let's go through it. So sauerkraut was store-bought. It was nice. I would like to have a go at making it myself. It seems like it's hard work, and it seems like it might be quite easily possible to have it go moldy, but I'd like to give it a go, so I might do that at some point. The carrots, so the veggies, meaning the carrots are like onions that I cooked with the meat, those are really good. Very buttery. Like the carrots just kind of like melted away once you put them in your mouth, and were quite buttery. So that was good. I think those are like one of my favorite things. The Kartoffelknödel, like the potato dumplings, I actually have always preferred Semmelknödel, which is made with more bread, but because my partner is gluten intolerant and I actually did use a lot of like flour and stuff, I didn't really think about the fact I would end up using flour anyway, but I went for this because I thought it's less gluten than using the Semmelknödel, which is essentially made out of breadcrumbs. It probably didn't make any difference in the end. I could have just made the other one. I'd never made it before. I was very excited because it's one of my favorite things in German food is Knödel, but they didn't really come out that well. They're quite dense. I haven't had one in a long time, but I know there's something not right with this, and there was like no flavor either. I feel like there's usually a bit of like flavor just from the knödel before you even put any gravy on it. Yeah, it was just like nothing. Like it didn't even really taste like potato, which is weird because it's like pretty much a potato mash ball. So I'd like to maybe try that again some other time and hopefully do a better job of it. The pork was delicious, very good. There wasn't actually very much of it. It had to feed like 2.5 people and kind of just about did that, and only because the half a person didn't really want the meat anyway. But I think it's maybe just the size of loin I got. Is it a loin? It was like really easy to eat and it went really nice. And there was that gravy that was essentially just made out of the, it wasn't even, what constitutes a gravie? I would ask, but I had to unplug her for this video. The gravy that is essentially made out of meat juices was really nice. I think that was where the like butteriness came from. I guess it was made of like butter and vegetable stock and then meat juices. So I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. But that went really nicely with everything else. The pretzels I kind of talked about earlier are not really how I'd like them to be. Having said that, my partner and his daughter just tried one and they both really liked it. But I don't know how familiar they are with German pretzels. It's fine. It's just not what I wanted. It's not a German pretzel. They're edible. They're just not what I wanted. And in terms of the Weiss beer, which I have barely drunk, I think my conclusion is no, I'm still not converted to beer. My partner will drink that, so it won't go to waste. But for a moment there, I thought I might like beer now, but no. So yeah, in general, I'm pretty happy with it. I think overall, it was quite a nice meal. It was my first time making all of the things I made today. I've never even made like a roast thing of meat. Like whenever I see those roast cuts, I don't know what you call them, like beef or lamb or whatever, when they're like that, I'm always like scared. I'm scared of them. I've never cooked them and I've never tried. So that was my first time doing that. And it was nice to know that's actually not that hard. Something that I really like have taken away from this and I like to do more of. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I would like to do more German dishes. I'm full. I need to get out of this very tight dress now. I hope you have a go at some German cooking, be it this or, you know. I will link all the recipes that I used in the description below. One of them I think is in German, so if you don't speak German you might need Google Translate. And I think that's the one for the meat actually. No, it's not, it's the one for the knödel. Or is it maybe the two of them was in German? One or two of them is in German, so you might need Google Translate. Or you can watch my video back, I guess. Thank you so much for watching this video, hanging out and finding out a bit more about German cooking if you didn't know anything about it. Hopefully you'll try some of these. If you do, let me know. Link any good German recipes below. Maybe you've got a secret recipe that's been handed down to you by your grandparents. Send it to me, I won't tell anyone. Yeah, we'll see you around and bye for now.